What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So if you saw the thumbnail, stay tuned. I'll come back to that. So I had a day that was a mixture of working on this and working on that and running errands for that. So let's go and let's talk about this first since I'm standing here. So this thing was running pretty bad. It's still not great, but when I was messing around with it yesterday, if you saw the show yesterday, you know that seemed like it was only idling on 2 cylinders. Did some more research, and then one of you guys actually posted up about the balance tube. It may be a balance tube. There does not seem to be one on there that's causing it to really not idle very well on 2 of the 4 cylinders, specifically cylinder 1, which is the front one on that side, and cylinder, 1 and 3, which is the rearward one on this side. Yeah, those 2, when you pull the plugs when it's idling, it makes not really any noticeable difference. What I need to do, though, because again, I'm trying to not spend too much time or this guy's money on this thing. I just want to get it so it's driving and safe. We're going to put this new interior in it, and you know what, dude, take it, enjoy it. We're going to try and push the wheels out and a few other things like that, but I don't want to get too involved in this motor. So I think what I'm going to do is once we get some seats in it, I'm going to take it for a drive, and I'm hoping that once you sort of get up into the driving range of the motor, that this thing kind of smooths out. I think it's maybe like a reversion thing, since this is basically a single butterfly for a pair of cylinders. I think that it's one cylinder is causing interference with the other or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's probably something like that. But there aren't fittings on the manifolds for a balance tube, and so again, I don't really want to get into like pulling the manifolds and drilling them and running that tube. I mean, if I absolutely have to, then I'll run it by the owner. But I mean, realistically, that's probably like a half a day job by the time I pull all this stuff out and do that and get it back in. That could easily be 4 hours. So we'll see. Hoping not to have to do it. But anyway, the other thing that happened, I don't remember if I mentioned this yesterday, as I was like trying to troubleshoot this thing, it stopped starting. It would not start anymore. And I knew it wasn't fuel related because when I would do the throttle here manually, I could see gas squirting down the carburetors from their fuel pump, or excuse me, accelerator pump circuit. So I knew it wasn't fuel. Definitely spark related, because it wasn't even trying to start. It was just turning over and doing nothing. So check some more things out, and then I did hook another coil up to it, and it pretty much fired right up. So I don't know what this coil must have. Let's see, where is this thing? This coil must have like been on the way out or something, because the car was running. The guy drove it like part of the way here, but just in the process of troubleshooting this thing and trying to tune it and stuff, this thing just took a dive. It just died. Because again, as soon as I put the other one in, hooked up exactly the same, boom, it pretty much fired right up. So had a good used Bosch 12-volt blue coil laying around, so went ahead and put that in there, boom, fired right up. I did also pull all the spark plugs and check them. They seem like they're all running. They all looked about the same. I set the gaps on them. A couple of them, the gap was tight, but maybe by just a few thou, no big deal. But I evened them all out. I think I set them all like 24 thou or something like that. But yeah, I think until I'm able to drive it and see how it actually performs driving, I'm not going to worry about the fact too much that it seems like it's kind of idling on 2 cylinders. So we'll see. And once I know how it drives, then kind of go from there. So yeah, that was it for this one. Spent a little while this morning trying to figure out why it wouldn't start, and then pulling plugs and all that stuff. So let me talk about this one for a minute, and then finally I'll get back to that. So did a few things on here today. I did fill the transmission with oil, which I checked with the owner. He said, yes, please do it. It hadn't been filled up yet. So filled the transmission with oil, got up here and adjusted his clutch. The end of the clutch cable, the threads on it were actually a little bit boogered up. I started trying to adjust the clutch and it got to the point where the wing nut just wouldn't turn anymore. So I pulled it back apart and I ran a die over the threaded end of the clutch cable, and I ran a tap through his clutch adjusting wing nut, and then pretty much went greased everything, and got it adjusted. Super stiff though. I don't know if he has like a very high pressure plate in there, but I was kind of surprised. It felt very stiff. So hopefully he has a very stiff pressure plate and there's not some other issue going on in there, because I was kind of surprised at the effort it took to push his clutch in. But anyway, yeah, did that. Popped his valve covers off and checked his valves. They were all pretty much like they'd been adjusted. I think a couple of them were a hair loose, a couple of them were a hair tight, but you know, I'm just being kind of finicky here. They would have all been fine, I'm sure. But yeah, went and just fine-tuned the adjustment on those. And then he did order and have shipped here, and it came just kind of like a regular 009 distributor with an electronic ignition in it. So the other one that was on here was, I think, like a flamethrower or some kind of higher output one, and then he had like a flamethrower coil to go with it. And he said, you know what, since this motor is more or less stock, he just wanted to run kind of like a more like regular stock ignition setup on it. So 009 with an electronic module, good old-fashioned Bosch blue coil. So I went ahead and installed those things. Can't really set the static timing because it's electronic ignition, so you just eyeball it, hope you can get it started, and then of course you can adjust it with the timing light from there. So what else? I'm waiting on the hard line, which will go from the fuel pump up to the chassis there. I wire that or plumb that in, and then let's see what else. Need to add oil to it, and I think that's about it, and I should be able to start it. He does want me to do a cam break-in on it, so do that, and then I think that's actually one of the last major things to do on this car, and get it back to him maybe in the next week or so. We'll see. So let's talk about this. So how many of you guys, okay, no cheating for those of you in Australia, how many of you in the United States, or in England, how about how many of you anywhere in the world except Australia have seen this intake setup? So this is from a company from Australia called Monaro Motors, and they made this dual carburetor kit for V-dubs, for 25 and 36 horse motors back, I think it came out in like the early 50s. So this was a pretty early high performance dual carb setup for these things. And we happened to come across this complete set here, and it was in pretty rough shape to say the least, but we sent the carburetors because we don't know really anything about these. They're completely different than the normal, sort of Solexes and Webers and stuff that we use on Volkswagen. So these are SU carburetors, which are used on a lot of European and I think in particular English cars, and they're super weird but super cool. And again, what we like about them is the fact that you probably are pretty unlikely to see another set like this running on a Volkswagen. And then also, there's only one stud in this one, which is why it keeps going crooked on us here. I just kind of popped them on there for show and tell. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. And anyway, the origin of this bus was originally sold in Australia. So when I heard that our friend George at the butcher shop had these and that they were from Australia, it's like it was meant to be here. Australian bus here, reunited with a genuine Australian performance dual carb kit. I mean, how perfect is that? And the fact that it's super rare, and the fact that it looks bitchin', I mean, total no-brainer here. But anyway, so we went and sent these to, trying to make sure I know their name. I think it's European European Automotive. I'll post a link to their website in the description if I remember. But anyway, for anyone watching that may have particularly British cars, these are your guys. So they went through these things, made them like new, and cleaned them up, kind of polished this bell-shaped thing. I don't even know what that thing is called. And they got them set up for us the best they could for this motor, some fine tuning. These things basically have, my understanding is like an adjustable jet. You pretty much turn, I think it's this knob here, and it richens or makes more lean the mixture by turning that. And that's kind of it. They're relatively simple. They do have a butterfly on this side, and there's a rod that goes across here through this little bracket here, and then a little lever that goes on that rod that in turn actuates the throttle between those two. So yeah, super cool. Yeah, so it took me a while, like an hour I think to get up there, an hour to get back, and spent probably half an hour going over them with the guys. But yeah, should be worth it. Very excited to run these things and tune them and play with them, and I think they're going to be a good match for this motor. They are kind of small, but that's actually good because we have built this motor to be very torquey. It's a bus. We don't want a motor that you have to rev out, so I think this is going to be a really good little combination here. The rest of the motor is kind of more geared toward being torquey rather than peaky, or like high horsepower, high revving. So should be a good match. And we already have the air cleaners, which we've repaired and fixed, and we had some stickers made for them that match the original stickers that came on them. I'll show you guys all that stuff as we continue this build. But that is it for today, everyone. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.